In order to create an invoice where the local franchisee is going to invoice and collect from the customer, simply go into the job. I have set up a quote and then accepted that quote to create this job. Now it asks you a question, payment to be collected from the customer by, and I'm going to select local franchisee in this case. I'm just going to allocate it to a franchisee. Okay, so there's a job in there for that franchisee. So I'm going to save that draft. Now, one important thing with this is, although the local franchisee is going to invoice and collect from the customer, in other words, the invoice that you're going to generate is in the local franchisee's name, you must set it up from your regional account, the invoice. So I'm just going to click Set Up Invoice. Are you sure? And yes. Now what it's done is it's created an invoice. If I go into history, it doesn't show that invoice there because it is a local franchisee invoice. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in to the local franchisee account to show you what's happened there. So I'm just going to close all those other tabs. Franchisee. Okay, now we enter into the franchisee's invoice, and you'll notice there that since I've allocated that job, it appears on the franchisee number one's account, and also the invoice that I've created. So you open that invoice. Okay, and there it is, 98346. That was what was in that successful message on the regional account. So if I scroll down, I can go and complete this. So say it is for the commercial cleaning for the month. Okay, it's $120. And you've got the invoice date. Now what you can do is, if this is a repeat, you can set up the repeat here as well. If it was just a one-off, you just save that, and once the local franchisee has printed it off, they just go print and they accept the invoice. They can send it to the customer or hand it over to the customer. This is what you'll need to do in training with your local franchisee. Please note that the local franchisee can change the price, but this is totally up to the franchisee. Now, in order to create a repeat for the local franchisee, just click repeat like you would do for a regional invoice. You put the frequency, so let's say it's every week, and let's say it's on a Tuesday, and it is due, say, 7 days after the invoice. I can put an end date if I want, but unless you know that it is going to end at a particular date, I'll just leave it. And then click Save Draft, and it will ask you, do you want to apply this to all repeating transactions? In this case, it's actually setting up all the repeating invoices. So now, if I go in and run a report, so I can go, in fact, I'll just search for this customer, and I can actually see all the invoices for that customer. Okay,